In this lesson, we'll look at how to scope your AI agent's pilot. We'll start by looking at the two ways that teams typically roll out, then cover the key questions to answer before you go live, and introduce a simple decision matrix to help you decide where to actually focus. So, when teams roll out an AI agent, they generally take one of two paths. The fast track is about casting a wide net, switching your AI agent on for all your customers, and then narrow down where it's needed based on how successful it is in different areas. For example, you might stop at answering pricing queries because you might find you prefer those to be handled by a human agent. The other way is a phased rollout. This starts small, focusing on a few specific areas, and then it expands over time. This is often the better approach for teams in regulated industries or companies with more complex structures, or indeed any environment where customer trust is critical. Okay, let's talk about how to choose the initial types of questions your AI agent should handle. We've put together a simple decision matrix to help you figure out where to start. So the vertical axis is risk. At the top, you have high-risk queries that could possibly hurt trust if they go wrong. At the bottom, you have safer, low-risk queries. On the left, you've got low coverage, little to no supporting content, or maybe the content you have is dated or confusing. On the right is high coverage, meaning you have a lot of good content about a specific topic. So on the top left, that means you've got risky and not well-documented topics. This is fragile territory. These queries could damage trust if they go wrong, and your content isn't quite there yet to back up those questions. So these are the ones that you could save for later. Top right, you've got well-documented but still risky. You might automate these one day, and they'll probably need a tight review and testing before you trust them to the AI agent. And then bottom left, you've got low risk, but not well documented. These are safe topics, but your content still isn't quite in the right place yet. But they're good future candidates once you've added or updated your documentation in these areas. And then you've got well documented and low risk. This is where you should start. Everyday questions with strong help content already in place. The takeaway, you don't have to start small, just start simple. There are probably dozens of useful low-risk queries that your AI agent can handle straight out of the box that you already have content in place for. And this frees up your team to focus on more complex queries and even starting to take on new kinds of work, like content creation or being able to dedicate more time to customer success. So, what channels will you launch on? It's often best to pick the busiest channel where your agent will have the biggest impact, probably live chat or email, and roll out to other channels in due course. But consider how you want your AI agent to behave based on the channel. For example, live chat might have more fast, repetitive questions like, "Where's my order?" or "How do I reset my password?" Whereas in email, the queries can be longer and more detailed and require more comprehensive answers with fewer clarifying questions. In other words, sometimes the channel comes first and dictates the scope rather than the other way around. Content readiness is also something that you need to think about. And I don't mean coverage. Just having an article on a topic does not mean your AI agent will be able to make best use of it. If you have vague, outdated, conflicting, or poorly structured content, this can confuse your AI agent. In fact, bad content is usually worse than none. It can lead to overconfident, wrong answers. A good rule of thumb is that if it isn't clear to you, it won't be clear to your AI agent. And we have an example here. Notice how the optimized version is structured, clear, and easily scannable. That's exactly what your AI agent needs to give confident answers. Now let's talk about risks and dependencies. So as you narrow down your scope, you'll want to call out anything that could interfere with early progress. Common examples include needing engineering resources to connect your AI agent to other systems. You might need time and capacity to audit, update, and create new help content. You might need sign-off from other departments, maybe brand or legal or marketing, before you roll out. There could also be upcoming seasonal events or launches that will affect team bandwidth and drain capacity. You don't need to fix everything ahead of launch, but surfacing such issues early will help you plan realistically. Finally, who actually needs to be involved? So you might be part of a large team, or you might be doing this solo. Either way, you want to bring people in, even if it's on an informal basis, such as someone on the support team who knows the queues well, content owners, an ops or analytics partner, or someone who you trust to help you gut check decisions. There could also be technical stakeholders you need to loop in, like a developer or an engineer, someone in security, someone in IT, or your systems admin. They can help identify risks, but also this early involvement builds support and buy in across your organization. So use these questions to create a confident starting point for your AI journey. You don't need to think of every possibility, but just enough forethought to ensure a smooth launch.